You're watching Netrush Report, your home for tennis drama, legends, and the rising stars who make this sport unforgettable. If you live for the battles, the rivalries, and the behind-the-scenes emotions of tennis, don't forget to subscribe and join the rush. I'll break this down into layered segments. US Open 2025, the battle that changed everything. Carlos Alcaraz, the relentless Spaniard. Jannik Sinner, the ice-cold competitor who feels deeply. The ranking war, numbers versus mentality. What Sinner said and why it matters. Alcaraz's philosophy on rankings. Looking ahead, Beijing versus Tokyo. The year-end #1 race, the scenarios. Why this rivalry could be bigger than Federer versus Nadal. Expert opinions, fan reactions, and emotional fallout. New York, Arthur Ashe Stadium. A swirling September evening where the world's eyes locked onto two men separated by little more than raw willpower and nerves of steel. Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner had met many times before, but this final felt different. This was a battle for more than just a trophy. It was for supremacy, for the right to stand atop the rankings, and for the psychological edge in a rivalry that's becoming tennis's new epicenter. 4-4 sets, the momentum swung back and forth. Alcaraz's explosive forehands, impossible angles, and fearless net approaches clashed against Sinner's surgical backhands, icy composure, and relentless depth. The match wasn't just about power, it was about belief. When Alcaraz finally sealed victory, collapsing to the court with tears in his eyes, it wasn't just the end of a match. It was the beginning of another chapter in this rivalry. The Spaniard reclaimed world #1, leaving Sinner heartbroken yet again. But what came next stunned the tennis world. Carlos Alcaraz is no stranger to pressure. At just 22, he has already lifted multiple Grand Slams, conquered clay, grass, and hard courts, and taken the torch from Rafael Nadal in a way no one thought possible. His strength lies not just in his game, but in his mentality. Alcaraz plays with joy. Where most players tighten up in big moments, Carlos thrives. His smile after impossible rallies, his chest-thumping roars, and his ability to play without fear make him unique. This US Open proved once again that he isn't just a player, he's a force of nature. Winning Roland Garros and the US Open in the same season placed him in rare company. And now, with the #1 ranking back in his pocket, the Spaniard looks like he's building a dynasty. But on the other side of the net stood Jannik Sinner, a man who has turned calmness into a weapon. With his expressionless demeanor and quiet intensity, he has often been called ice. But make no mistake, behind that exterior is a fire that burns for greatness. Sinner came into New York as world #1. He had earned it after months of consistency, victories, and grit. But losing the title on the biggest stage, in a slam final, to the man who has become both his rival and mirror image, was devastating. And yet, in the post-match press conference, Sinner didn't sulk. He didn't complain. He didn't make excuses. Instead, he said, "Carlos deserves to be there." 5 words that showed the tennis world what kind of champion Sinner is. 4. The ranking war, numbers versus mentality. Currently, Alcaraz leads Sinner by around 760 points. That may not sound like much, but in the brutal world of rankings, it's significant, especially when one player has more points to defend than the other. Sinner's challenge? He has to defend major points from last year's late-season tournaments, while Alcaraz has far fewer. This means the Spaniard is playing with a cushion, while the Italian has everything to lose. The ATP race isn't just about who wins, it's about who avoids losing ground. When Sinner said Carlos deserves to be there, it wasn't just lip service. It was an acknowledgement of rivalry without bitterness. It was sportsmanship. And it was also a reminder that while he may have lost the battle, the war is still ongoing. For fans, these words hit differently. Federer and Nadal once traded similar lines, building their rivalry on mutual respect. Djokovic and Murray had it too. Now, it's Sinner and Alcaraz carrying that torch. Interestingly, Alcaraz himself doesn't obsess over the #1 ranking. Before New York, he admitted, "I try not to focus too much on rankings. If you do, you put too much pressure on yourself." This mindset is what frees him to play aggressively in key moments. While others tighten up, Alcaraz goes for the lines. He plays to win, not to protect. That's why he thrives in finals. Now, the tour moves east. Sinner heads to Beijing for the China Open, September 25th to October 1st. Alcaraz takes a different route, entering the Japan Open, September 24th to September 30th. 2 ATP 500s. 2 continents. 2 opportunities. Both men will be top seeds. Both will carry the weight of expectation, and both know that every match counts in the year-end #1 race. So, can Sinner catch Alcaraz? The math says it's possible, but difficult. He will need deep runs in Shanghai and Paris Masters, a strong showing, possibly a title, at the ATP Finals, to consistently go one round further than Alcaraz in shared tournaments. Meanwhile, Alcaraz can simply hold his ground, avoid early exits, and keep the cushion intact. If form holds, the Spaniard may well finish 2025 as year-end #1. Federer versus Nadal was elegance versus ferocity. Djokovic versus Nadal was iron will versus endurance. But Alcaraz versus Sinner? It's joy versus ice. Fire versus calm. They've already split the last 8 Grand Slams between them. They're pushing each other to impossible levels. And they're both so young. This rivalry could be the story of the next decade, and tennis is lucky to witness it. Experts say this battle for #1 is only going to intensify. Patrick Mouratoglou believes both players will trade the top spot multiple times before either cements true dominance. Fans, they're split. Social media is a battlefield. Alcaraz fans celebrate his flair, while Sinner supporters praise his work ethic. But one thing is clear, both sides respect the other. And that mutual respect, shown in Sinner's words, is what makes this rivalry beautiful. So here we are. Carlos Alcaraz, once again on top of the tennis world. Jannik Sinner, heartbroken but dignified, vowing to fight back. This isn't the end of their story. It's just another chapter. The question now is, can Sinner turn heartbreak into fuel and reclaim the throne before the year ends? One thing is certain, the tennis world will be watching. You've been watching Netrush Report, your home for tennis drama, rivalries, and unforgettable stories. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us as we follow this epic battle all the way to the season finale. Because this isn't just tennis, it's a rush.